Hello everybody, today is the 15th of September and we're gonna tell the pain story. But before sharing with you the pain story, I'm gonna share with you some update about Hanoi weather, okay? Actually Hanoi weather the past couple day in the morning is into the fall, so the morning is very beautiful. The weather is very breezy and it's kind of chill and not very chill, it's just very cool. And it's still hot. It's still hot during the day, especially in the afternoon and noontime. But then in the morning as well as toward the nighttime, the weather is perfect. It's really, really enjoyable. So one more time, if you have the chance to go to visit Hanoi in the fall, this would be the perfect time to come to Hanoi City to enjoy, the people, to enjoy the weather, as well as just the ancient city. Okay, so let's get started with the pen story. What is this? It's a pen. What do we use a pen for? To write. Now there is a dog inside the room. I want to wait the same from the dog. What does the dog do? The dog probably will sniff like I choose this, right? Does the dog see this one as a pen? No. So for the dog, this one is not a pen, but for the human, this one is a pen. So who is correct, the dog or the human? The answer is both are correct. For the dog, this one is a chewing toy, but for the human, this one is a pen to write. The dog is correct on the dog one. The human is also correct in the human world. So that is our first lesson. Both are correct. Now let's imagine that there is a table in front of me, so I'm going to put this thing on the table. And then both the dog and I will walk out the room. So inside the room, there'll be no human, no dog. What does this thing become? It is still a pen or a chewing toy. Oh, it becomes almost nothing. Then the ancient wisdom call this one as the emptiness. The emptiness is actually a very magical definition. As we understand the emptiness, we be able to achieve anything in our life. Just like Geshe Michael Roche applied the emptiness into his business and was able to build a business with revenue of $250 million a year. He's also able to help several refugees. So what is the emptiness? Why is that so magical? So let's go back to the pen story, okay? But before that, I would like to explain what the emptiness is not first, okay? So first, the emptiness is not blackness, it's not darkness, this is not nothingness or no feeling, no sadness, no happiness. The emptiness is just by itself when there is nothing to interact with. Just for instance, like me. When I'm here, I don't interact with anyone, I don't interact with anything. So I'm come back to my true self and we call it the emptiness. And just like you too, we all have the emptiness. However, the nature of human being or anything in this entire universe is that always, almost always, we always have interacting with someone or something, right? So when we interact with someone, we have the potential to become anything or anyone depending on how the other person or the other thing interacting with us, how they see us, how they perceive us. And that's what the potential is. Just for instance, this thing, when it is in the room with no human, no dog, nothing to interact with, it is almost nothing, and we call it the emptiness. But as soon as I go back into the room and I look at this becomes a pen. When the dog come back to the room and the dog look at this becomes a chewing toy. And when both the dog and I come back to the room at the very same time, we both look at this at the very same time, what does this thing becomes? It becomes two things, a pen for me and a chewing toy for the dog. So a single thing, when there is no human, no dog, or nothing to interact with, it comes back to true self. We call it the emptiness. But because it has the emptiness, it also has the potential to become anyone or anything, depending on who or what is looking at this at the very moment. So that is our second lesson. Along with the emptiness, we all have limitless potential. Now I see this as a pen. So does this pen coming from me or does this pen coming from the thing itself? This pen is actually coming from me. Why am I so certain? Because if this thing is the pen itself, the dog or anything in this entire universe will have to see it for what it is, which is a pen. But does the dog see this one as a pen? No. So this pen is actually coming from me. This pen is actually coming from my mind. Everything is actually coming from our mind. So that is our third lesson. Everything is actually coming from our mind. Now, we all agree that this pen is coming from my mind, right? So I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to believe this one become a diamond, okay? So please pray with me. Diamond, diamond, diamond. Open my eyes. It's still a pen. So what in my mind that forced me to see this as a pen but not a diamond? They all said inside our mind that the ancient wisdom calls karma. When we see something, the sit inside our mind pop up, open up and cover this, and made us see it for what had been planted earlier into our mind. So who planted those seeds into our mind? Only you can plant the seed into your mind, and only I can plant the seed into my mind. How can we do it? We do it by three ways: by our word, by our actions, by our thoughts with other people. So for instance, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to say that I have the pen. Would you like to have this pen? And when my friend say yes, please, I'd be so happy to give this to my friend with the hope that I can help my friend. So when I give this to my friend, this palm will open up and both me and my friend will see it, and it start leaving mark in my mind. A couple days later, when I see this, I recognize this one as a pen, which means that the seed of the pen has been planted into my mind, and now it pop up, open up, and cover this, and made me see it for what had been planted early into my mind, which is a pen. And this is how a pen become a pen, or anything surround us become what and who they need to us. In the pen story, there are several meaningful lessons. Today, we went over 4 different lessons. The first lesson is both are corrupt, so we learn to respect each other's opinion, we learn to respect each other's choices, and we learn to listen to each other with a compassionate heart. But I want to stress a very important aspect of this is both corrupt, so we learn to respect ourselves. First, we learn to listen to ourselves. We learn to respect ourselves. We learn to understand ourselves and love and have the compassion to our own self. Once you do all that to your body, you recognize yourself, you respect yourself, you love yourself. That is when you be able to do not do those things to the other people. So that is when you be able to spread the happiness, the love to everyone surround you. So always remember, do it yourself first. Love yourself, understand yourself before you do it to everyone else. And remember, both are correct. The second lesson is, along with the emptiness, we all have limitless potential. So we learn to trust our potential. We learn to trust the potential of everyone or everything surround us, and we learn to trust, whatever. We learn to trust the potential of everything that happened to us, and with that, we want to work that potential. But in order to get to see that potential, to believe in that potential, you have to know, to accept, to respect your own emptiness or everyone's emptiness first. So when we know what we truly are, when we are just by ourselves, we don't really interact with anyone. We know our weakness, we know our strength. That is when we be able to see the potential, what we can be for someone else. And that would be able to see the potential of someone else to work us. And we can help us as well as help that person, have that person become that potential. So understanding yourself, the emptiness first, before we can move toward that potential, okay? And the third lesson is, along with the emptiness, the third lesson is everything is actually coming from the seed inside our mind. So we be 100% responsible to whatever happens to us. We don't blame anyone because in the end, we are the only one who can plant the seed into our mind using our word, our action, our thoughts with other people. So we learn to take charge of our lives, to be responsible to whatever happened to us and don't blame anyone. But we also know that, when you be able to see the potential, what you are, the potential of other people are, we're working toward that, and we believe that we have the will, we have the power to change ourselves, to change our life, to change our story. And we work toward that. So when you have that thinking, that mindset, that is when you will be able to change your life, okay? And that moving to the fourth lesson is how to incorporate all the first three lessons into creating our dream life in a very certain way. So first, we have to know what we want in our life first, right? So that is the emptiness and the potential right there. And then we start planting those seeds using our word, our action, our thoughts toward other people. And that is the third lesson, right? So if you want to have happiness, then you start planting the happiness using your word, your action, your thoughts to other people, helping other people getting happier. If you want to have the um um healthy, the wealth seed, right? The prosperity seed, then you start planting those seeds using your word, your action, your thought, helping other people to be more prosperous. And just like that, whatever that you want to make sure that you plant those seeds using your word, your action, your thought to other people's so value. And the lesson that I would like to share with you all today is that yesterday I look I actually read the first letter Rockefellers. He's the king of the oil in the oil industry in the US. And then the family has been very successful, very rich, and this is the sixth generation in the US, and they still be a very wealthy family. So a lot they did a lot of story about that family. And then one of the book that actually I'm following my daughter because she has a reading session, and I'm reading that one as well as 30 letter that Rockefeller sent to his son. And I read it. I read the first letter, and it's about how he explained that different people will come from different background, but your background doesn't dictate what you're gonna be, who you're gonna be, and how your life gonna be. It's gonna be you. It's gonna be your thinking. It's gonna be your action. It's gonna be your mindset and your habit that dictate how your life gonna be. And it's so it's just. And then he write in a very positive way, very encouraging way, for his son. And I just feel like, oh wow, this is why. This is why. This is the reason why. That family that their generation after generation after generation, they still have that wealth because they teach their kids when they were very young. They also have the compassion to their kids, and that is something that I really, really need to learn. I love my son and my daughter, but I think sometimes I can be a bit too strict, and I can be a little less empathy. So maybe that is something I need to work on. So thank you so much for listening to me today. Thank you, Anu, for coming with me in the 3,000-day journey. And if I may share with you the pen story or my lesson is something great, I would like to dedicate that to my Jewish family, to my friends, to my coworkers, to my clients, or to my neighbors, or to any living things in this world, any other world, with love, wisdom, and gratitude. And I also want to say thank you for my health getting better. Have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.